Okay, class, today we're going to be looking at and reviewing nouns, a name for everything. And just very quickly, before we look at our homework for today, we're going to look at the rules. So if you go back to the top of page 140, you'll notice that the 3 rules that are given are, and I'll go ahead and screen where you can see these for yourself. A noun is a word that names a person, place, thing, or idea. And we talked about the different types of nouns yesterday, depending on if you're talking about a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. Then we have a compound noun is 2 or more words used as a single noun. So again, sometimes these compound nouns are brought together like sandpaper. Or sometimes it's your name, where you have maybe 2 to 3 words that make up your name, which would make it a compound noun. And then you have a proper noun that names a special person, place, or thing, and always begins with a capital letter. And that's what makes the difference between a proper noun and a common noun. A proper noun will always begin with a capital letter. So we looked at these things yesterday, and we did exercise A together, so we're going to skip over that for now. But we're going to go on to exercise B. So if you will check with me as we look at our homework, and I'll go over these with you very quickly. Now notice we went through and we circled all of the proper nouns first. So if you start with the first sentence, Glenn Martin is circled, and then you underlined all remaining nouns. Man, imagination, and work. Those are going to be in that first line. Then you come to the second line, and you have the common nouns. Again, they told us to underline the common nouns and circle the proper nouns. So the other common nouns are going to be contributions and aviation. Okay? Then you have in the second sentence, boy and things are common nouns. But the proper noun is going to be Glenn. Again, it begins with a capital letter and it talks about a person. Go to the third line. Money is going to be a common noun, but then you have Glenn and rights are going to be proper nouns. Go to the fourth line. Airplane is your common noun. Your proper noun, Kitty Hawk, North Carolina should be circled, and plane is going to be underlined as a common noun. Then you go to the next line. Cars, day, plane, and night. All of those are common nouns. So we would underline them as common nouns, okay? Go to the next line. Thanksgiving is a proper noun, so we circle it. Holidays, plane, and success are all common nouns, so we would underline those. Go to the next line. California, Kansas, Michigan, Glenn Martin. All 4 of those are going to be proper nouns, so we will circle those as proper nouns. Going to the next line. Inventor, builder, aircraft, bombers. All of these are common nouns.
Was this
okay?
homework?
Yes, folding these in to common nouns because they're in noun positions. And then allies in World War II should have been circled as proper nouns. And remember yesterday I asked you, whatever you didn't finish in class, to go back and complete. And then we go, of course, to the third to the bottom line. And you're going to underline challenge and problem as nouns. And then second to bottom line, you're going to have General Billy Mitchell, and then Glenn, they're going to be circled as proper nouns. Airplane is going to be underlined as a common noun. And then at the very last line, year is going to be underlined. Glenn is going to be circled as that proper noun. Now, yesterday, remember, we talked about this. We talked about how that nouns can be in functions of subjects, direct objects, indirect objects, object of prepositions, appositives, which you'll learn that later, direct addresses, which you'll learn that later. Okay, those are all positions of nouns, okay? So make sure that if you're ever questioning that, and as we go through this year, you'll notice that in those positions, those are always going to serve as noun functions, okay? All right, now we're going to go to the next page, and on the next page, you have to tell me the difference between a noun and a verb. So, of course, we know that when we look at a sentence, we always look for the verb first, always. And once you find your verb, then you can ask yourself who or what to find your subject, and then even process later on if you have other nouns in the sentence. So that's important. So look at number 1, and I'll put this up on screen because this was work we did yesterday in class. Number 1, did someone knock on the door? Well, again, we're looking for the verb first, and yesterday we already discussed did knock was our verb. It's our verb phrase. So therefore we place verb on the blank because knock is bolded, and we know that knock is going to be part of that verb phrase. Look at number 2. Austin ate 3 slices of bread. Well, ate's going to be our verb. Austin is our subject. Austin ate what? Slices. So slices is in a noun position because that's going to be a direct object. And so we put noun on the blank. Look at number 3. The outfielder's throw to third base was perfect. Okay, was is our linking verb. Throw is in a subject position. So that's going to be a noun. Okay, so noun will be on the blank for number 3. Look at number 4. Would you hand me the book, please? Well, would hand is going to be my verb phrase. You is going to be my subject. So since hand is bolded there and it's part of the verb phrase, we're going to write verb on the blank. Okay, look at number 5. You are pretty when you smile. Now, we know are is a linking verb here. You is your subject. You are what? Pretty. Pretty there is a predicate adjective. Okay, we'll learn that as we go. When you smile is a dependent clause. And you also have a subject and verb within the dependent clause. So notice smile is your verb. You is your subject. Okay? Now, let me ask you to help me out on the next few to determine if they're subjects or nouns or verbs. So look at number 6. The bite of the tsetse fly causes sleeping sickness. So class, what's my verb? Who can tell me? Okay, Noah?
Bite.
Okay. Well, it's not going to be my verb. Can you look again? I heard it. What is it? Causes. Right. Or causes here is going to be my verb. Now, who are what causes? Now we have what, Noah? What causes?
Fly.
Right. Of the tsetse fly is going to be a prepositional phrase. So actually it's going to be bite. Bite's going to be my noun, okay, because it's in my subject position. But causes is going to be my verb. Now we have a prepositional phrase of the tsetse fly. Now that's of the tsetse fly, the prepositional phrase. So therefore, fly here is going to be the object of the preposition, making fly a noun, okay, because it's the object of the preposition. Yes, Kenzie?
Last time I done it for homeroom, I done all like the stuff. I just didn't underline like my verb and everything.
Well, they didn't ask you to, but I was in class yesterday. I was asking you to do that because, again, once you get in the habit of finding that verb and knowing where that verb is in the subject, a lot of the other things will as you learn the rules, will fall into place afterwards. So if you didn't underline it today, or yesterday, that's fine.
Okay.
But I always encourage you to do that just to help you out. Okay. All right. Let's look at number 7. Lily dresses so slowly that she is often late for breakfast. So what's my verb? Who can tell me?
Dresses.
Dresses, right. So dresses is going to be my verb, and so we can put verb in the blank. Look at number 8. I can handle that power tool easily. So what's going to be my verb phrase here in number 8? Okay, Troy?
Handle.
Right, handle, and we have a helping verb right in front of it. What's right before handle? Can, right. So our whole verb phrase would be can handle here, and so we would put verb on the blank. Look at number 9. Dylan drove in the winning run in the last inning. So what's my verb here, Seth?
Drove.
Drove. Who or what drove? Dylan, right. So Dylan's our subject, drove is our verb. But then we have the prepositional phrase in the winning run. And since run is an object of a preposition, Seth, what would that make run?
Noun.
A noun. Good. Yes, so you put noun on the blank. Look at number 10. If you need an afternoon job, I hear that there is an opening at the supermarket. Now, we have a dependent clause here. Okay, so we're going to just kind of leave that alone right now. We'll come back and learn all this as we go through the year. But we're going to look at specifically the independent clause here. I hear that there is an opening at the supermarket. So first of all, what is our verb here? Here, right. And our subject is? I, good. But we come through and we have another dependent clause here, that there is an opening in the supermarket. And is our linking verb here in this dependent clause. There is our take that back. Here and there are never subjects. The words here and there are never subjects. So now we have to say, what is? Opening. So opening is going to be our subject of the linking verb is. And that's in a dependent clause. Okay? All right, now quickly going through 11 through 14. Number 11, drive is a noun. Number 12, tree is a verb. Number 13, paper is a verb. And number 14, hitting is a noun. Now, they give you these types of sentences because they want you to realize that when you look at subjects and verbs, sometimes if you look at a word and you think, oh, that has to be a noun, doesn't necessarily mean it will be. You have to use the rules to go through and make sure that you find the correct verb and find the correct subject. And of course, subjects are nouns, okay? All right, now, if you go to the bottom of exercise D, because I told you to cross out B and C, and note that here are your answers here. Last week, Dad lay down for a refreshing nap. Number 2, my brother sneaked up on him while he was asleep. And number 3, Caleb should have known better than to disturb Dad. Okay? All right, any questions on page 141? Make any necessary changes if you have anything you want to correct. Yes?
What was number 2 again?
2 is sneaked. Okay? Sneaked. Okay, now turn to page 142. Now this is going to be day's work, page 142. Let me get it a little bit closer on the screen. Now again, this is in your book, and you can see it also here as we go. And they tell us that nouns have number. That's what they refer to it as. Nouns have number. They say nouns and verbs have number. That is, they can be singular or plural. Remember, nouns that are singular mean just one. Okay? Just one. But nouns that are plural mean more than one. For example, if I were just to use the word child, okay, child just means one. But if I were to use the word children, that means more than one. Okay? Child would be singular, children would be plural. So again, nouns have, nouns have number. And what they want us to know today is that they want to make sure that when we use nouns as subjects, that our subjects agree with the verbs. That's really the rule today. So they go on and they say this: the verb of a sentence must agree with the subject in number. Singular subjects take singular verbs, plural subjects take plural verbs. Now this is easy. Do you know the rule of thumb here? Singular subjects will not end in S, but you will have a verb that ends in S, okay? Well, let me say it this way, not necessarily that way, but singular subjects that don't end in S will have singular verbs that will end in S, okay? Plural subjects, because singular subjects won't end in S, so you have a singular verb that ends in S. Plural subjects that will end in S will not have singular verbs or plural verbs rather, that end in S, okay? So let me say it one more time. Singular subjects have to have singular verbs, okay? Singular subjects won't end in S, but most cases of singular verbs will end in S, okay? Plural subjects will end in S, which means they'll have plural verbs that won't end in S. Now this will all become clear to you here in just a moment, okay? So let's look at this together. Stars shine brightly. Now of course we know stars is our plural subject because stars end in S, meaning more than one, right? So therefore we say stars shine. Notice how stars end in S, but your plural verb will not end in S. And that's how you know to use the verb shine and not shines. Okay? So you use the word shine. Olivia?
So, singular,
Singular subjects.
Singular subjects, their verbs do have S,
Right.
but plural doesn't.
Exactly.
So,
Okay.
because singular begins with S, and then the verb begins with S, there you go.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I want you to know. Okay? Now if you look at the second sentence, the star shines brightly. Notice star here is singular. And so therefore, because it doesn't end in S, guess what the verb has to end in? It has to end in S. So again, let me go through the rule one more time. When you have a singular subject that doesn't end in S, you're going to have a singular verb that does end in S. When you have a plural subject that ends in S, you're going to have a plural verb that doesn't end in S. Okay? Just like the rules right here. All right? Okay, let's look down at this information. Verbs are just the opposite of nouns. Did you notice that adding S to a present verb makes it singular? The singular form of several irregular verbs also happen to end in S. Study the chart below. Now, keep in mind, sometimes there's a discrepancy to the rule. Sometimes it's referred to as an irregular verb form. But we'll look at more of those as we go. For example, singular is, was, does, and has. Plural are, were, do, and have. Okay?
This isn't that hard.
And no, it's not. In a verb phrase, only the helping verb changes form to make the verb singular or plural. Look at the example. Samuel has sailed many times. Okay? And that helping verb is what helps the singular Samuel with the verb sailed. Okay? So has sailed instead of just. Now, if you take the word has out, you would say Samuel sails many times in that last week. Okay? Or sails many times in next week. Okay? Look at the next one. The boys have sailed many times. So again, helping verbs sometimes can change it up a little bit. Now, another way to write a plural subject is to make it compound by joining two nouns with and. Look at the example. Compound subjects joined by and take a plural verb. The boy and his dog are inseparable. Okay? Now notice we have two subjects here. Stay with me here. We have two subjects, boy and dog. Because we have the word and a boy is a boy and a dog is a dog, it's not the same thing, okay? That means it's plural, and therefore you have to have a plural verb that doesn't end in S, which would be are. Okay, the boy and his dog are inseparable. Okay, you wouldn't say the boy and his dog is inseparable. We hear people say it incorrectly, so sometimes it sounds right to us, but it's not. When you have two different noun subjects joined by the word and, you're going to use a verb that doesn't end in s because that makes it plural. Yes, Olivia?
We haven't gotten there yet, but
Mm-hmm.
on number 2 on Bank A, like it has 2 subjects,
Yes,
but one of them ends with S.
right. Now, here's the thing though, would you let me come to that in just a minute, and I promise I'll go over it with you, okay? All right, now, let's go over to the last rule. Compound subjects joined by or nor take a singular or a plural verb. The verb agrees with the nearer subject. Now, again, with and, oftentimes you have two things, which then makes it plural, which means you have a plural verb. But when you have or nor, you have to look at the subject that's closest to the verb, okay? And look at the example. Either pills or a vaccine is used to prevent that disease. Well, we have the helping or the conjunction or here. And so therefore we have to look at the subject that's closest to the verb. So vaccine is closest to the verb, which makes it singular. Therefore you have to have a singular verb that ends in s, which means you're going to use the word is. Okay? Now if it was switched around and it said either a vaccine or pills, you would say pills would be the closest to the verb and it would be are used. Okay? So it always depends on what's closest to the verb. Now I promise, as we get to the examples, this will become clearer to you. So just hang with me for just a few minutes, okay? All right, now, here's some exceptions to the rule, okay? And they put this down here under look closely. They say sometimes subjects joined by and refer to one person or are considered as one thing. Use a singular verb in this instance. Look at the example. The class secretary and treasurer is Jody Swanson. Now notice, we just looked up here, and we notice boy and dog, they're two different things. So therefore they're plural and you have to have the verb are. But sometimes you have compound subjects joined by and that means the same person or the same dish or the same meal. Okay? Like class secretary and treasurer is the same person. Jody Swanson is the same person here. So therefore they refer to this as singular, and therefore they use a singular verb is. Okay? That's kind of like the example of hams and egg, because that's considered one dish. Okay? And because it's considered one dish, it's going to be considered singular. So therefore we need a singular verb that ends in s.
Is.
Right, exactly. That would be your answer. Similar to this right here, chicken and dumplings. Now we know that's one dish, okay? Those are yummy. Chicken and dumplings is a southern dish. Now the reason why we use is, even though chicken and dumplings is joined by and, is because it's only one dish. And so therefore it's singular. So we have to take a singular verb is. Okay, now this is going to be a little bit clearer to you as we look at some of these examples. Okay, so look at exercise A. Look at this is what it tells us in our instructions. Underline the subject in each of the following sentences and write in the verb that agrees with its number. Okay, so Sadie, can you read sentence number 1 for me, please?
Many people never heard of the
Okay, all right. So again, we're looking at many people, and again, we ask ourselves, is people singular or plural?
plural.
Plural, right. So what we're going to do, they ask us to underline our subject, so go ahead and do that right now. Go ahead and underline people. We know that's our subject. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Let's try it, see. Okay, well, that's a little squiggly, but you know. Okay, people. There we go. We've underlined people. Now, people is plural. So remember, the key when you have a plural subject, and again, notice people doesn't end in s because you have to change the form of the word from you don't say person. Person would be singular, but people was plural. So even though it doesn't end in s, remember the plural rule is when you have a plural subject that ends in s or a plural subject in general, then you're going to have a plural verb that doesn't end in s, okay? So again, the verb that we're going to use here is either have or has. All right, so we're going to use the word have, right. So have is going to be what we're going to fill in here. Okay, and we're just going to write the word have. Okay, look at number 2, ham and eggs. Now again, we're looking at the parentheses at the end of the sentence, and we're going to use either is or are. So ham or eggs, is or are my favorite combination for breakfast. Now keep in mind this is considered one dish, okay? And since it's considered one dish, it's going to be singular. So remember the rule, singular verbs that don't end in S have singular subjects rather that don't end in S have singular verbs that end in S. So therefore, what would our verb be? Is, right. So we're going to underline ham and eggs as our subject, and we're going to write is right here on the blank. Okay? Look at number 3. A wife and mother has or have a full-time job. Has, right, because wife and mother, is that the same person?
Yeah.
Yes, but even though it's two different words, it's still referring to the same person, so it's singular, meaning you'd have the verb has. Okay, so we're going to write has right here on the blank. Yes? Noah?
Can I do the next one?
Sure. So look at number 4. Neither the coach nor his team members have. Very good, Noah. That's right. Because is coach and team members the same person or thing? No. So therefore, that's going to make it plural. And if we have plural, we have to use the plural verb that doesn't end in S, which is going to be have. Okay? Look at number 5. A horse and buggy is. Very good. Yes. So we're going to underline horse and buggy. And it's two different things. A horse and buggy. No, I'm sorry. Horse and buggy is combined one type of travel. So we would say horse and buggy is. That's right.
What's for?
Okay. We should have underlined coach and team members. Okay. Coach and team members there. Okay, look at number 6. Cats are. Good. Yes, Troy? You're going to say that? Okay, very good. Okay, help me out with the next one. Scorpions and lobsters
Are.
Very good. Yes, scorpion and lobsters are. You guys see how easy it is once you get the rules down? Because again, scorpions and lobsters are completely different animals. And so that makes it plural. So you have to use the verb are. Okay? All right, let's move on. Neither the children nor the mother were. Very good. Yes, excellent. Now, of course, what subjects would I underline here?
Scorpions and lobsters in the last one.
Okay, well, you're right. Yes, we didn't underline these, but we need to go back scorpion and lobsters, and then in the second one it would be children and mother. Right. And you would say were. Very good. Okay, look at number 9. Either Marla's sister or Ryan's parents. Okay, Landon? Are. Very good, yes. And what would I underline as my subjects here?
Marla's sister or Ryan's parents.
Right, just sister and parents. That's right, good. And then number 10. Now, this was a little bit different because, again, you have an inverted sentence where the verb comes before the subject. So, blank, either Marcus or Alex know the answer. Okay, Seth?
Do.
Okay, well, Marcus and Alan,
This doesn't.
because we have the word either, so it would be does. Okay, does. See, that word either is what changes it up here. Does either Marcus or Alan know the answer? And of course, Seth, what words would I underline as my subjects here?
Marcus and Alan.
Very good, yes. Okay, all right, now, what I would like for you to do right now is just look at Think Be with me, okay? Let's skip down. Now, let's see if we can. All right. That's interesting. Okay.
You're gonna have to go
That
to
wasn't
the
supposed
eraser
to
on the
happen.
Okay, well, here, we'll just go back. Take it off. Okay. Hopefully that'll help. Some. Okay. Okay, now let's see if we can go through. Okay. We'll have to find a shorter way of doing that as we go. Now, I do not want you to have to rewrite this on notebook paper, but here's what I would like for you to do. I want you to, it says if the subject and verb are singular, rewrite the sentence on notebook paper making the subject and verb plural. If the subject and verb are plural, rewrite the sentence making them singular. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to go over these together because I want you to see how you would change it up if you need to. So look at number 1 with me. It says a tall maple tree shades the house.
You get rid
Okay.
of the ad and put tall maple trees.
Exactly, right, exactly. So we would take out the A here, okay? You would just take out the A, and you would capitalize the T in tall, and you would say tall maple, and then add your S, right? Trees, shade, and again, you're going to take out the S there, shade the house. So that's how you would go through to make the correction if you wanted to take it from singular to plural, okay? Look at number 2. My cousins live in Hartford. Now, how can I change this one up? Because, again, it's plural, and they want us to change it to singular.
Just get rid of the S in cousins. That's it.
Okay? Well, no, it's not. That's not the only thing.
My cousin lives
So
in
you take
Hartford.
out cousins. My
Oh, and then
cousins.
You put
My
the S
cousin.
on L.
Right. You'd have to say my cousin, because, again, we're going to change it to singular, and we would insert an S after live to lives. Okay? My cousins lives in Hartford. Okay, let's do one more together. Neither the lilac bush nor the cherry tree is in bloom. Now notice lilac bushes, that's going to be plural, but you have this nor, okay? The cherry tree is singular. So what we have to do is we have to switch these two up. So we would say neither the
lilac-
cherry tree nor the lilac bushes are in bloom. You see how we had to switch just the subjects around?
Yes.
And then change the verb to go with the subject that's closest to the verb. Okay. So again, to change this one up, we would say neither the cherry tree nor the lilac bushes are in bloom. Okay. That's how we would switch that one up. All right. So just to give you an idea of what we would do there.
I know what 4 is.
Okay. Well, we're going to move on right now to exercise C. Okay. So we're going to come down here, and here's what I would like for you to do on your own. It says this: in the blank, write V if the word in dark print is a verb, write N if it is a noun. So it goes back to what we were reviewing yesterday. So go ahead and do that for me. Write V if it's a verb, N if it's a noun. So just students listening at home, finish up exercise C, and then please review your spelling list. And again, keep in mind, your spelling list this week is going to be list 12. Remember, next Tuesday you will have a vocab test, and on Wednesday you will have a spelling test. Now, you will have a quiz tomorrow. I'm sorry, let me say that again. You will have a quiz on Thursday. Over subject-verb agreement. So we'll review this again tomorrow. Be ready for that quiz on Thursday. Have a great day.